Hey guys, what's up everyone? In today's video, I've got kind of a sad history of video lined up for today because today we're going to be tackling the first of my history of Descendants characters videos with the Queen of Oregon herself, played by the lovely Dove Cameron Mal. Now, the reason why I say this video is going to be kind of sad, and I think I may even cry while doing this video, it is because in 2019, not only did we get the release of Descendants 3, but not only was the cast and crew of the Descendants films hit with some sad news, but the cast of every single project Cameron Boyce has ever worked on got some very, very sad news. That being, in 2019, Cameron Boyce passed away. And I'm not going to talk about this in my Carlos video, but I will bring it up in like literally every other video. History of video that talks about a character who's in the first three films. Oof. So, I'm gonna get this out of the way with. It wasn't until 2021, I think. It wasn't until the Royal Wedding Special premiered that we got some sort of hint as to what exactly happened to Carlos's character after he passed away. Carlos's character, Cameron Boyce, I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna try to keep it together. We're talking about this. It's not easy, trust me. After Cameron Boyce passed away in 2019, Disney made the decision to Disney made the decision to made the decision to kill off Carlos off screen. And I think I addressed this in my video where I talk about Cameron Boyce and celebrating the 10-year anniversary of Descendants video, but honestly, I thought the reason why Carlos wasn't in the special, I thought it was because he had something else. He had some reason that he couldn't make it to the wedding and was still alive. I actually think that they killed Carlos off. Now, with that being said, I do think them killing Carlos off was the right move. Anyways, let's get into it. The history of Mal. Now, I will be addressing some of the stuff that happened in the first in the first Isle of the Lost Book, because the events in those books are like fresh and kind of clear in my mind. So let's get to it. I think our first point in time starts. Let's see. I think 26 years before present day in the Descendants franchise. I say 26 years because I think Mel was 16 in the movies, and hold on. And at the beginning of The Rise of Red, we find out through a narration through Uma that it has been 30 years since the Lost was formed. So 26. Anyways, we go 26 years before present day when Maleficent gives birth to Mal, and during the events of like her first 2 or 3 years of being alive, Hades is just like, oh, Hades is just like, yo, Maleficent, you're crazy. I'm out of here. See ya. So, yeah, that explains Mal's father daddy issues. I'll bring that up again later, a bit later, but let's just keep going. So, jump to when I think Mal's like 6 or something. I don't know how old she is exactly, but one year during her childhood, Mal notices that Evie is throwing a birthday party Evie's getting a birthday party not too far from where she and her mom are, and she was not invited, which, ooh boy, let me tell you, that really made Maleficent mad. So, yeah, and I'll get more into the Evie side of things of what happened in my Evie video. Anyway, jump forward to some unknown amount of time before the events of the first Descendants film. Being the first Isle of the Lost book, Mal's going to high school, going to a school on the Isle of the Lost, which I cannot think of the name of. She is friends with Jay, and honestly, everyone at the school is really scared of Mal. Oh yeah, also something that happened, I think during the childhood, but Uma tried to join Mal's gang. Something happened, and Mal got called, and Uma called Mal Shrimpy. Oh gosh. Oh god. I will get more into the hatred of that name that Uma has in my Uma video, you guys. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, right. Unknown amount of time before the first Descendants film, high school, people are scared of her. Alright, one day, Evie joins the school, and Mal just like, you know what? I'm gonna get revenge on her for what she did to me all those years ago. A petty, very petty thing. I'm not gonna lie. And between, also, something that was brought up at some point, the Isle of the Lost briefly gets magic back. It sparks to life Diablo and Maleficent's Scepter, the Dragon's Eye. So Maleficent's like, you know what? Oh, here's what you can do for me, daughter. If you really want to prove that you're worthy of your name, worthy of the name Maleficent, give me my scepter, and you'll be worthy of being named Maleficent. Which honestly, I don't like the idea, but whatever. So she ropes Jay, Evie, and Carlos into it. They travel across the island, get what they need. when they finally get to it, Evie's about to grab it, but Mal takes the blow. She sees, I think she sees the events of Sleeping Beauty, like from, like the party. I think maybe from baby Aurora's point of view. I think that's what it is. I don't know. Anyways, from what I remember, worried about Mal sacrificing herself to take the brunt of the curse for Evie gets spread around. Mal's very disappointed in her. And then we jump to Descendants. Okay, this is where things get interesting. When we're first officially introduced to Mal, at least in the films, is when she's performing Rotten to the Core. I don't mean to plug more videos here, but if you want to see me do the choreography for that song, either check out my video where I dance to all the songs in the first Descendants movie, or check out the video where I dance and sing along to 16 different songs from the Descendants and Zombies universes. You see that? Anyways, where was I? Alright. So after the musical number, Val takes candy from a baby. Yeah, I know. Anyways, takes candy from a baby. Maleficent shows up. Everyone runs. Then Maleficent delivers the news to not only her daughter, but Evie, the daughter of the evil queen, Jay, the son of Jafar, and Carlos, the son of Cruella de Vil. Also, before I get any further, I do want to mention, I'm going to mention it here, at some point between either when the first Descendants movie takes place to the beginning of the third movie, Mal tells Evie that Hades is her father. That will be very, very important later on. Anyways, they're all against it, but they eventually agree when they find out that they have no choice. So they get in the limo, they go to the island. They go to Ordon, they come out, and we get introduced to some new characters for Disney, and a pre-existing Disney character. Those characters being Ben, the son of Adam, the name of the beast, and Belle from Beauty and the Beast, Audrey, the daughter of Aurora from Sleeping Beauty, same film that Mal's mom, Maleficent, is from, and Fairy Godmother from the Cinderella films. Something I want to bring up here is that after they get out and Ben just like introductions, Audrey and Mal have this interaction. You're Maleficent's daughter. Hi, you're Maleficent's daughter, aren't you? You know, I totally do not blame I totally do not blame your mom for trying to kill my grandparents and stuff. And Mal, and I totally do not blame your grandparents for inviting everyone to their stupid christening but my mother. Water under the bridge, totes! Yeah, something I forgot to mention at the beginning of this video is that in an interview, Dove Cameron said this about Mal. She is pansexual. Yeah, I'm not going to explain what that means because I don't want to make this video longer than it already is, so jump to them being introduced to Doug and getting taken to the dorms. When Mel and Evie are brought into the dorms, they're like, well, Evie's like, this is so amazing. And Mel's like, gross. And Evie's like, yeah, amazingly gross. Anyways, jump to that night. The girls are in the boys' dorm. And they're looking for the fairy godmother's wand. So they eventually go to the Museum of Natural History, where there are all kinds of historical Disney artifacts, and some of the ones I can think of off the top of my head are Poseidon, or Ariel's dad's trident, Cinderella's glass slipper, I'm sure there's some other Aladdin's, the genie's lamp from Aladdin. And then one important for this situation here, the spinning wheel from Sleeping Beauty. And the boys kind of make fun of him, kind of make fun of it. Jay goes, that's your mother's spinning wheel? Yeah, no offense. It's kind of dorky. Look, it doesn't have to be scary. It's evil. Mal does a spell that puts the god to sleep. And Jay's like, you know what? It's locked. Oh, don't worry. I got this. I'll open the door. And Mal's like, yeah, I'm not letting you do that after you made fun of my mom's spinning wheel. So she said, open fast, open quick, open up without a kick. So Jay goes in to kick the door, but falls on his butt. Anyways, when they go up to the Hall of Villainy, everyone's freaked out about about the wax statues and how much they look like their parents. And now, it's time to bring... And before I get into the next part of Mal's journey in the first Descendants movie, I should probably mention something that I should have mentioned at the beginning of this film, but they got Kristen Chenoweth to play Maleficent. If there are any theater nerds who watch my videos, they'll probably know why that's a big deal, honestly. Anyways, after Evie, Jay, and Carlos leave, Mel's alone in the Hall of Villainy with the statues of, like I mentioned previously, Maleficent. The Evil Queen's there. Evil Queen statue's there. There's a Cruella de Vil statue and a Jafar statue. And I don't know if it's like supposed to be a spell. It's supposed to start the song or something. But Mal says this: Mother, look at you, look at me. I don't know who to be. Is it wrong? Is it right to be a thief in the night? Mother, tell me what to do. Evie comes back and says, come on, let's go. And then the Maleficent statue comes to life, and we get the only officially known Kristen Chenoweth musical number in the end Descendants, which is a duet between Maleficent and Mal called Evil Like Me. Then they eventually do find the wand, but there's a force field and an alarm protecting the fairy godmother's wand. And I'm like, I mean, for some place that has never dealt with criminals, jeez, don't you think that's overkill much? So, anyways, they have to go to school. They do that. Mel tries to get Jane on board with getting the magic wand out. And Jane's like, if I can convince my mom, you're totally there. And she's like, oh, thanks. Anyways, next big Mal moment for them. in the movie that I can think of off the top of my head is, oh yeah, the love cookie scene. So in this scene, so Mel and the other VKs find out that the only way to get close to the fairy godmother's wand during the cotillion. No wait. Cotillion is Descendants 2. No wait, Cotillion is season 2. Coronation is Descendants 1. Get close to the fairy godmother's magic wand during the coronation is the only people close to the fairy godmother's magic wand during the coronation are the following people: Belle, Adam, and Audrey, Ben's girlfriend. Yep. So what do? They make chocolate chip cookies, but that's actually a love spell. So they go into the kitchen, they make cookies. Lonnie shows up and they're like, no, 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 no. But Lonnie's just like, what? I'm not gonna double dip. They were scared that the magic in the love spell had taken effect. And Jay's like, well, hello, hey. And I'm like, dude, just don't. This love spell has not taken an effect yet because there was no tear or pure sadness. And the fact that Mel does not cry is a very, very important thing I will bring up later in this video, actually while talking about the first Descendants film. So Lonnie talks to the VKs and says, oh, well, I thought even villains love their kids. And because none of the VKs confirmed that that's true, Lonnie, understandably, gets upset after hearing that and cries a real, legitimate tear that they need for the love potion. Need for the love potion. So after they get the tear, they just kind of shoo him out. They kind of shoo Lonnie out. And then the next day, Ben's like, no, I don't eat before a big game. And Mel's like, no, I get it. You've probably been told, don't trust snacks from kids of villains. And Ben takes a bite of the cookie, and boy, does the love spell work. Jump to after the game, Ben sings, Did I mention that I'm in love with you? Anyways, then sometime after the game, Mal comes running over to Evie and Doug and is like, well, Ben just asked me out on a date. They go on the date, and during the date, we get another song called If Only. And yeah, it's honestly, I feel like if they did not cut out If Only from Descendants 2, I feel like that song had the potential to become the Disney Descendants version of Someday. But they did cut it out of Descendants 2. I think the reason behind it is that it didn't work plot-wise or something. I don't know. Anyways, so after that, later that night or week or whatever, I don't know what the time frame is. Evie catches Mal looking at a anti-love spell, and Evie's like, Mal, you want to reverse Ben's love spell? And she's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, Ben being in love with me when the villains take over just seems a little extra cruel. So then we cut to Mal making the anti-love spell, singing "If Only." And here's what I'm gonna say what she sings since it's short enough, and I doubt this video will get copyrighted if I sing the entirety of one song. She sings a million thoughts in my head. Should I let my heart keep listening? I know it's time to say goodbye. So hard to let go. And then Mal legitimately cries an actual tear of sadness for the anti-love potion, which is really sad, not gonna lie. So the next day, Family Day happens, and Mel and the other VK show up during Ben's performance of "Be Our Guest." Or "Be Our Guest." Yeah, I'm not gonna try to replicate that. Anyways, Family Day goes a bit chaotic, let's say, because Queen Leia, Audrey's grandmother, and Aurora's mom thinks that Mal is Maleficent. She freaks out. And the VKs kind of get turned against the AKs, well, except for Ben. Oh, by the way, AK stands for Ordon Kid. Except for Ben, who's still convinced that everything is fine. And then the next day is Coronation Day, which goes great until Jane takes her mother's wand and tries and fails to make herself pretty, and pops a hole in the barrier. Maleficent escapes the island, and Mal and Maleficent have a confrontation. It ends with Maleficent turning into an itty bitty lizard. I know, it's so weird. Anyways, the film ends with the group singing "Set It Off." Now usually if I had the events of Wicked World down by heart, by memory, or just fresh in my brain, I would go over the events of both seasons, but I do not. So we're just gonna skip to Descendants 2, 6 months later. And it seems like what? And the first thing we get is I guess the 4 VKs making poisoned evil apples, because the first musical number we get is "Way to Be Wicked." And in that song, we get a musical number showing all the ways to be wicked. Honestly, I feel like that's pretty explanatory. But it's like a vision or whatever, because in reality, Mal is sworn by paparazzi. Her hair is mostly blonde. And she's being overrun by paparazzi. Ben and Fairy Godmother show up to tone things down. Evie shows up and she's like, if I don't get you for your dress, you'll be dancing in your dance robe. Nope, your bathrobe. Mel just feels like so overwhelmed and stressed with everything. So, yeah. A bit later in the film, after some other stuff, which I'll talk about in other videos about characters, Carlos shows up. Mel shows up to Carlos's room, and Carlos is like, "Do you have the truth coming?" And she's like, "Yeah," and Carlos is like, "This will allow me to say how I really feel to Jane," and she's like, "Yes, but it'll also make you tell the truth all the time, no matter what." And I was like, I know. If I took this, I'd say things that would get me sent back to the island. And Mal's like, Carlos, are you sure you're gonna take the risk? And he's like, yep. Mal, stupidly, I might add, keeps the unconcealed truth gummy down low enough for dude to eat it, and then, oh boy, we get a talking dog. Yeah, no, honestly, unless if it relates to Mal, I'm not going to be talking about dude at all anymore. So, Mal, Ben and Mal get into a big fight. She goes back to the island and takes Lizard Maleficent with her. And then we don't really hear or see Dove Cameron as Mal until Ben arrives on the island and is like, Mal, please come home. The people love you. I love you. And Mal's just like, no, I don't belong there. I belong here. That fails. Ben wanders off, but get more into that even later. But then Harry Hook, oh, right. You're probably like, wait. Oh, no, wait. Okay. So I'm going to go over some things real quick. So after the fight, Mal goes to the Isle of the Lost, shows up to curl up and die, and has Evie's like, hey, I need a new hairdo for this film. And Evie's like, woo, I can help you. That she does. Then jump back forward to present day. Well, I mean, the Descendants 2 part of this video, anyways. And Mal finds it out later from Evie, Jay, and Carlos, who went to the Isle with Ben, which I'll get more into in their respective videos. And it's like, Harry and maybe Gil and the others, they nabbed Ben, and now Uma wants to talk to Mal alone. So, oh yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the person who did Mal's hair is Dizzy Tremaine, the granddaughter of Lady Tremaine and the daughter of Disrella Tremaine, and the step-niece of Cinderella and King Charming, as well as the step-cousin to Chad Charming, and Chloe Charming. I would not be doing a Chad video because, well, I can pretty much say the events of those and other videos. I'm thinking about doing an Audrey video, though. That would be interesting. Anyways, yeah. So Mal shows up to the Ursula's fish and chips, and they have an arm wrestle. And Mal's like, if I win, I want Ben back unharmed. And Uma's like, that's fine. So they start to arm wrestle, and Uma's like, don't you want to know what I get if I win? And Mal's like, keep dreaming, sister. Uma wins. And Mal's like, I want Fairy Godmother's magic wand. She's like, so Mal goes back to meet up with the others, and then Mal tells the others about what happened, and they're like, well, we can't keep Ben in the hands of Uma and her pirates, but we also can't give Uma the Fairy Godmother's actual magic wand. So what do? Giant Carlos is 3D printer for the win. Also makeshift smoke bombs from Curl Up and Die. I can't remember if it's before or after they put their plan together, but Evie and Mal sing Space Between. So after they get all the stuff together, Mel, Evie, Jay, Lonnie, and Dude all show up to Pirates Cove. And if you're like, wait, Lonnie? How did she get on the island? I'll say this. Watch my Carlos and Jay videos when I post them. That will explain it. I promise. Anyways, they show up to the island, and then we get the song "It's Going Down." Then they escape with Ben and go to Oregon. Jump to the night of the Warrior Cotillion. Mel shows up in this beautiful, and I mean absolutely beautiful dress. If I was good at like editing and plopping in random pictures, I would have like a picture of like Mal's beautiful dress, Uma, Harry, Gil, like, and I'd do everything so you could see what I'm talking about. But I'm getting off track here. Anyways, so Ben comes out, then plot twist, Uma and Mal? Uma and Ben? What? Wait, how did that happen? I thought, oh yeah, something I forgot to mention is when escaping the Isle of the Lost, Mel dropped her spell book, Uma got her hands on it, and made a love spell to make Ben fall in love with him. There, you all caught up. Anyway, so Mel and Uma dance, things go off the rails. Uma jumps over the side of the boat and becomes mother like daughter. It turns into this huge, like half human, half octopus thing. That's the thing that Ursula did at the end of the animated version of The Little Mermaid. Now, for those of you confused as to why I specified the animated version of The Little Mermaid, it's because, simply put, any live-action film, whether it be the remake of Aladdin or Little Mermaid, anything like that, it is not a part of the Descendants universe. Like, at all. So, where was I? Oh yeah, Mal's like eyes glow green. She turns into this huge purple dragon. And it's like mother like daughter. So they fight, Ben jumps over the side. Everyone unites. Mal's hair and dress changes. And then Descendants 2 just kind of ends after the musical number, You and Me. Oh, something I forgot to mention with Descendants is at the end of the film, during Set It Off, Mal looks at the camera, her eyes glow the same green that her eyes have been glowing throughout the entirety of Descendants 2, and says, "What? You didn't think that was the end of the story, did you?" Then we jump to Under the Sea, a Descendants story. So in this, Mal is on the island with Evie for, I think, another makeover or something. I don't know. Anyways, Dizzy starts acting weird. She starts sounding like China. Harry and Uma show up. They also sound like China and McLean, who's Uma. And the two of them, Mel dives in the water, and the two of them start breaking out into a musical number of a musical cover of the song Stronger. And then, after that's all over, Mel walks through this forest, sees like floating flames, and hears someone whispering her name, going, "Mal, Mal." And when Mel gets close to it and hears her name, she goes, "Dad?" Which was a Descendants 3 teaser. Damn it. What? Forget it, I'll leave it like that. Anyways, Then we jump into Descendants 3, where the first musical number we get is probably my favorite group number in the entire film series, which is Good to Be Bad. It goes throughout the island collecting applications for VK Day, which is pretty much a day, well, where our core four main VKs, Mel, Evie, Jay, and Carlos, they go to the Isle of the Lost and pick 4 VKs to come to leave the island and live with them in Ordon. The kids chosen are